Hey, I'm Jay Faiza from Level.media, and right now I have Armin from the Atheist Republic, one of the top atheist Facebook page. Has over 1 million followers, over 1 million likes. How you doing, Armin?
Good, good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. So recently your Facebook page had some troubles. It got taken down. Can you briefly describe what happened and where your Facebook page is right now?
Well, we managed to get it back, but what happened originally, and this is actually the third time that this has happened. There's a lot of Muslim reporting groups where they have a lot of people organizing coordinated attacks, and it's actually very sophisticated. A lot of people get together and they try to take a page down. They report it in massive numbers, and they try to take advantage of Facebook's algorithm by mass reporting to actually take it down. The good thing is that when we bring this attention to Facebook that this was done by mass reporting, they usually bring us back up. But the problem is that our page is so big and has a lot of support that it comes back up every time that they take it down. But there's a lot of other smaller atheist pages or anti-Islam pages that don't manage to get as much as attention as we do, and they just stay down and they don't come back. So that's why, you know, we try to bring attention to this, and we got a lot of news coverage, and we started a hashtag Let Ex-Muslims Speak, because it's a lot of ex-Muslim pages that usually get attacked by this kind of anti-atheist and anti-ex-Muslim coordinated attacks. So we're trying to get Facebook to take a look at their algorithms and try to find a way to for it not to be taken advantage of by these Muslim reporting groups.
So you get mostly flagged by Muslim groups and not necessarily leftist groups?
No, we've actually seen exactly how they operate. There's mostly Muslim groups. There's many groups that they specifically and it's not just pages. They sometimes attack individual accounts. My personal account was, targeted many times. I have been my personal account, even though it doesn't have anything on there, has been limited from any posting or sending any messages a couple of times for a month. So yeah, I mean, and a lot of people actually, when they get targeted, they live in Islamic countries, so they, that's dangerous for them when they get so much attention on them by these Islamic. I mean, we have people in these Muslim groups to see how they operate, and we actually have somebody from Bangladesh, he lives in UK, or if he actually documented exactly how they operate. It's actually very sophisticated. It's very organized, and but for our page, it backfires, because every time they take us down and then we come back up, we get a lot more support and we get a lot more coverage. So I don't know why they keep doing it, seeing that it keeps backfiring on them every time they do it.
So we were talking before, and you were saying that you're from Iran. Are you an ex-Muslim?
Yeah, I am an ex-Muslim.
And how do people treat you who are from the Muslim community? How do they treat you knowing that you are basically an apostate?
Well, I mean, we do get death threats from time to time, especially close to Dua Muhammad Day and other times when we post something that they find pretty offensive. I mean, I'm scared sometimes. I do fear for my life sometimes, but it's nothing compared to ex-Muslims that actually are doing this type of activism in Bangladesh, in Iran, in Saudi Arabia, believe it or not. People are doing this kind of activism. So compared to them, I feel relatively safe, but it does get to me sometimes. On the other hand, we do also have Muslims that do recognize that this is criticism of their ideology is not necessarily bigotry. And we do see from time to time that some Muslims come to our page and they mention, guys, I completely disagree with you, but you guys should be able to criticize us just like we criticize you. So we get both Muslims that would like us dead, and Muslims that do understand that this is criticism of an idea and it's not bigotry and it should be accepted. So
you get this mostly flagged from Muslim groups, and you get death threats from mostly Muslim groups. Do you have any sort of backage or any sort of flagging from the left? Is it just Muslim groups that you hear this from?
I mean, yeah, I mean, the left, they do get offended by what we say, but they're not as organized as these. I mean, as these groups, these groups are pretty, is the way they attack us is pretty sophisticated, right? So, I mean, even if we do get reports by leftists, it's not in such mass numbers, because these are basically specifically people that are gathered together in vast numbers specifically for taking pages down. We don't have such massive groups from the left. I mean, not yet, at least, not that I know of.
I suppose you've heard about the Manchester bombings and what's happened recently. Do you have any message to say towards those people who are Muslim, who are considering leaving Islam, partly, in fact, due in part by the violence that is occurring all across Europe?
Yeah, I mean, the violence is, I mean, even if there was no violence, Islam is still a claim that has no support for it, right? Even without the violence, I don't think Islam, let's imagine that there was nothing violent about Islam. There was nothing oppressive about Islam. It was fully supportive of gay rights, women's rights. It was peaceful religion. The thing is that it's the entire book, the entire Quran and Hadith are claims without evidence. And as long as you have claims without evidence, you shouldn't believe in them, whether they are advocating for violence or not. Because once you believe in claims without evidence, at some point you're going to believe in claims that are going to be harmful in a form of violence or in some other forms, right? So, and in the case of Islam, it does advocate violence if you actually read the Quran. And the problem, I mean, most Muslims haven't ever read the Quran. I mean, a lot of ex-Muslims became ex-Muslims because they actually ended up reading it cover to cover, and they couldn't believe what was in there, just like a lot of other religions, just like a lot of Christians that left Christianity after reading the Bible. I mean, but at the end of the day, I mean, my message to Muslims is that they should prefer us, atheists and ex-Muslims that criticize their ideology, over people that are bigoted against Muslims, right? Because, it's better to be offended than to be discriminated against. If they shut us down, if they silence us, they're basically stealing the platform from us, and they're giving the anti-Islam battle to people that are bigoted against the people instead of people that are having a problem with their ideology. I mean, I understand that many Muslims see criticism of their ideology as a personal attack on them, but they have to understand that from our point of view, Islam is just an idea, and when we criticize Islam, it's not meant to be a personal attack on them. It's just meant to be a challenge of just another idea. And even if they see it as a personal attack, once they understand their intention, they should prefer us over people that have a problem with who they are as people, no matter what they believe in. And by giving us a platform, you might still get offended, and you might find our views and our criticism disrespectful, but you should prefer that over people that are actually trying to discriminate against you.
That's the thing. You criticize the ideology. You don't necessarily hate or criticize the person. You criticize their belief system.
Exactly, especially when it comes to ex-Muslims, because most ex-Muslims have, I mean, their families are Muslims, their friends are Muslims, and they did just find the idea ridiculous. If disagreeing does not need to lead to hatred. Disagreeing is just disagreement. I mean, no other form of disagreement is seen as bigotry. I don't understand why disagreeing with Islam is often labeled as bigotry. Nothing else, I can't think of any other form of disagreement that is labeled as bigotry.
So moving forward, do you think that Islam in particular is compatible with the Western world and the secular values? I understand that you also have a problem with Christianity as well, because it makes claims that isn't really backed up by evidence. But moderate Christianity, the type of Christianity we see today, is compatible with the West in the sense that, well, it's not really committing violence. They're not really forcing people to engage in their religion. There are still problems to be solved, but it's not nearly as problematic as Islam is, in my opinion. So do you think the Islam is compatible with the Western world?
I don't think Islam is compatible with planet Earth. It doesn't matter if it's West or the East. I don't think like as.
You don't think
and
they'll ever be able to adopt secular values in the same way that Christians have, by and large?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think Christianity has evolved by ignoring Christianity. If Islam could evolve by ignoring Islam, I welcome that. I would welcome that, but I think it's lesser chance of that happening because the Quran and the Hadith it doesn't leave much room for you to ignore it. I mean, the Quran itself is considered a direct word of God. You can't play around with it as much as you can with the Bible. It can be like with the Bible, it can be like, oh, well, these are humans trying to figure out what God said. They make mistakes. You could look at it this way or that way. With the Quran, it's the most fundamental view of Islam that this is the direct verbatim word of God, and there's no way there could be any mistakes in it. I mean, for you to go away from that view is as if in Christianity someone tried to suggest that Jesus is not divine at all. That's how much of a change in Islam that would be. I mean, and if you look at people, Muslims that are liberal, it's not because or less fundamentalist or less radical. It's not because they're looking at the reform version of Islam. It's just because they're not taking Islam seriously. It's an abandonment of Islam, not a reform version of Islam. And more Muslims are leaving Islam than reforming Islam. So I really think that the ex-Muslim movement has a much higher chance of succeeding than the reform movement.
All right. Last question. Are you hopeful that liberalism, in particular liberalism in the West, will reform Islam? Or do you think because of the whole bigotry and racism aspect, they're always going to get stuck on that? They're going to always think that criticism of Islam is racist and bigotry?
I honestly don't know, but we're tired of waiting for them. A lot of ex-Muslims thought that they're going to find friends in the liberal and the left because they thought that that's what their message was, to protect minorities. And ex-Muslims especially are a minority. Within a minority, they're being attacked from all sides. So they thought they're going to find they're going to be welcomed, and they weren't. They've been labeled as Uncle Toms and bigots. And we're basically starting our own platform. We're not waiting for anybody basically to welcome us in anymore. The ex-Muslim movement is growing. The atheist movement is growing. And actually, if you check out our podcast, The Secular Jihadists from the Middle East, we are four hosts. All of us are ex-Muslims. We're not waiting for anybody anymore. We're basically taking our own message and leading with it.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. That's Armin from the Atheist Republic's Facebook page. Please check out his podcast. Please check out his Facebook page. Thank you so much for the work you're doing, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Jay Feza from Rebel.media.
If you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed my critical analysis of Islam within the UK, like, subscribe to Rebel.media.